Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Start of February, start of a brand new month of pens in use. This month's theme, it's my quarterly Use Me Up video. The idea of this month is I've got about 44 pens that are currently inked. That's way too many. So this month I'm going to be using them up. When I finish a pen, I'm not going to re-ink it. It'll be cleaned out and then I'll start on another pen. The idea is hopefully to reduce the number of inked pens, normally by about 10 or 12, so that's quite a good number to reduce by. So join me now, down on the mat. I'm going to show you my starting lineup, my 6 pens that I'm starting the month with, and as the month goes on, we'll use them up. Welcome down to the mat. Time to take a look at my starting 6 months of February's Use Me Up month. The first pen is a Majohn and it's the T5. This is in the purple colour. Really love this. It's a very dark colour. Then we get a very little bit of a hint there coming through of the purple. And then it goes dark again. I love it. It looks very classy. It's a really nice pen. I like the flat ends with a little bit of a dome, a little bit like a Leonardo Memento Zero there. If we open it up, this is a piston filling pen and it's got an ink window. As you can tell from the ink window, this pen is virtually full, so it's possible this pen might last the entire month, but we'll have to see. So this is a Majohn T5. It's got a medium nib. It's a beautiful writer, as you can see. Really nice medium line. When I bought this pen, it was 24 Australian dollars. All the prices I'm going to quote on here, they are Australian dollars, and when I bought that particular pen. The ink is by Diamine. And I always struggle with this name. It's Monboddos hat. I quite often end up writing Monboddos. I really struggle with this one. So I've got it written down just to the side so I can copy it. Let's look at drying times. So we go immediate. 10 seconds. Virtually dry, 30 seconds. Smudging a little bit down there at the bottom. I'm not going to do the 1 minute test because apart from that little bit, everything else was dry. Now, one thing I will say about the drying times, it's middle of summer here in Australia. It's hot, to say the least. I find that does affect drying times. It does affect the paper. Although I do my best to protect the paper, so it's kept in a dark drawer, it's kept away from direct sunlight, it's kept closed. I do find that the paper does dry out a little bit. And that means it's more absorbent and it affects the drying time. So just be aware of that. But this is a Mahjong T5 with Diamine Monboddos hat. Pen number 2 is the Wingsung 699. Classic looking pen, isn't it? Virtually a clone of the Pilot Custom 823. This particular model, I'm not going to work it, obviously there's ink inside, is a piston filler. Now, you might be able to see that through this semi-translucent. There we go. And there's actually not much ink left in here. I expect this to be one of the first pens that runs out. I've got a whole load of other pens to fetch in if it does, so don't worry about that. I like the blue colour. Not a lot of choices in colour for this pen, but that's the same with the Pilot Custom 823. It's still nice. It's a steel nib. There we go. So a nib, 2-tone nib. So this is a Wingsung 699 with a medium nib. I've sweated there. You'll have to excuse that. To me, this line is a little bit narrower than what I see with a Majohn. The cost of this pen, again, when I bought it, it was 35 Aussie dollars. The ink, it's Pilot Blue. It's actually the ink that came with the Pilot Custom 823 that I've got. I've never used this ink in that pen, but I thought let's try it in here. And I thought, yeah, blue and blue goes quite nicely. Drying times, so we go immediate. 10 seconds. Almost dry there. 30 seconds. Yep, nice and dry at 30 seconds. Same comments about the paper, they apply. Now you may notice I've just brought in some blotting paper. I was finding as I was resting my hand to write, I could feel the sweat coming off my hand onto the paper. I want to try and make sure that I don't affect anything by having sweat on the paper, so I'm just going to rest on that blotting page. So this was the Wing Sung 699. That's got Pilot Blue. Pen number 3 for the month. Just move this up ever so slightly. There we go. Pen number 3. You got a little bit of the cap there. This is a Narwhal Steel Toe. This is in Porpita Navy. We've got blues. We've got like copper, brown, maybe hints of green as well. Some yellowy colours there. Very nice pen, very nice looking pen. It's got an ink window. It's a piston filler with an ink window. I like to see that. Same with the T5. If you've got an ink window, you've got a rough idea how much ink you've got in there. Now this isn't the Schuylkill that I bought. When I bought this, I actually got it with a flex nib. I did not get on with that. So what I've done is I've swapped the nib. I've got in here. This is from Goulet Pens. It's a Yoho nib and it's in broad. It's a number 6 size nib unit, so it was easy to pull it out and put this new nib in. Once this is empty, I'm thinking of swapping this nib onto my Narwhal 365 and putting that medium nib onto here. Still thinking about that. Very nice looking pen. We're starting to run out of ink. If you can see through the ink window, we are seeing some very pale watery blue, as we can see hopefully there. Then you can see the ink coming back down. So we've got here that little issue was because I've had the cap off. We've got a Nahvalur Schuylkill. With a broad nib. Now the pen itself was $89. But then obviously, as I said, I've got a replacement nib on there. It was either $10 or $15. I can't remember how much exactly. A good move that I made to change it because I love this. I love this nib, and this is why I'm thinking of putting it on the 365. The ink, it's by a Welsh company called Pure Pens. And it's checking the name. It's Celtic Sea. I know where I grew up in North Yorkshire, whenever you saw that, you thought about the Scottish football club Celtic, but I believe it's Celtic Sea because it's obviously from Wales. Drying time. So we got immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. Again, 30 seconds, it's dry. In the winter, this combo is often still wet after a minute. So just be aware of the effect of the temperature. But this, it's the Narwhal Schuylkill with that broad Yoho nib and Pure Pens Celtic Sea. Just going to move this on up. There we are. We can get the bottom 3 in, just to show you there. We've got the room there for the bottom 3. So we've had 3 piston fillers. We're going to break that tradition now, and we're going to go for a Japanese eyedropper. So let me just fetch this in. This is the Opus 88 Koloro in blue and teal. Now, why it's a Japanese eyedropper? I was going to say tea dropper there. At the moment, it's very hard to see, but there's a bar running down here and there's a shut-off valve down at the bottom. If I open the blind cap, that lifts that shut-off valve so it lets the ink from the body flow into the section. I know, quite difficult to see because it's a coloured pen. It's a fairly small nib on this. I think it's a number 5 size nib. Writes really well there. It's another pen. It's a nice fit in the hand. When I'm at home, I always leave it open. If I'm going out, yes, I will close that down. So we've got here an Opus 88 Koloro. Really generous line again, very similar to what we were seeing with the Schuylkill. It's a broad nib, and this cost me 120 Aussie dollars when I bought it. The ink is by Diamine. It's another one I often spell wrong. It's Sargasso. Again, I'm reading directly from my notes to make sure I spell it right. C. I don't know why, but my head keeps saying to me it should be Sargasso. It's not, it's Sargasso. And I really struggle, so I have to make sure I'm reading the name of this ink when I'm using it. I think it's a real nice blue colour. I think, again, matches quite nicely with the actual body. Let's do drying times. So we go immediate. 10 seconds. You know, you can see, as I've said a number of times, how wet it was when it's immediate, and within 10 seconds, very, very dry. Happens with all the inks. 30 seconds. Let's do that again. 30 seconds, and this time I'll leave it for 30 seconds. Yeah, as we expected. Again, that's dry at 30 seconds. So it's this Opus 88 Koloro, and that's got Diamine Sargasso C. Pen number 5. I thought, let's go for yet a different filling mechanism then. So we've got our pistons, we've got that Japanese eyedropper, so we'll go for a vacuum. Not a lot of ink left in this. This is another pen I think will run out fairly quickly. This is the TWSBI VAC 700R, and this is in Iris. Wow, I love this pen. It's one of my favourite pens. Transparent body there. Look at that gorgeous colouring as I'm doing the ink. Now, it's hard to see because there's not a lot of ink in there, and obviously I'm agitating it. This ink has got, I think it's called a chameleon. It's a Diamine ink from the 2023 ink vent, and as I say, it's called a chameleon because it's got in there some like goldy type shimmer. But chameleon, I think that's like a finer shimmer than what you get with an actual shimmer. But that's why I'm agitating it, because I want to give the best chance of seeing that coming through. I love this iris pattern. You know, you see there on the nib. I think that looks so pretty. See if I can actually catch it for you so you can actually see it. There we go. That looks better, doesn't it? That's the problem with using my studio lights. They're fairly bright and they can overwhelm some subtle colours. Even the section here is transparent. Fits nicely in the hand. It's another pen, really like using it. Let's see though, have I been able to get that chameleon mixed in? So we've got here a TWSBI Diamond 580. No, it isn't. Silly Gary, it's the VAC 700R, isn't it? I had the Diamond 580 in last month's, and I've just actually recorded the wrap-up. I do these videos back to back, and I spent a bit of time talking about the Diamond 580, so that confused my poor little brain. It's a broad nib. Cost me 130 Aussie dollars. The ink, well, I've already said it's by Diamine. Part of that ink vent, it's Spiced Apple. This was my favourite ink from that 2023 calendar. Now, are we able to see some of that chameleon? Yeah, you can certainly see there on the word TWSBI. See it coming through on the VAC 700R. Let's wait till after we've dried, then we'll go back and have a quick look. Drying times, so we've got immediate. 10 seconds, 30 seconds, almost dry there, 1 minute. After a minute, still ever so slightly wet. Now, down here, this is where I was saying earlier on about my hand where it was rested and it was sweating a bit. So I'm wondering if just that little bit of sweating was enough to hydrate the paper a little bit, which might have helped with the drying times. Let's have another quick look. Can we see? Look at that chameleon. This is such a nice ink. Really is. It's my favourite ink and I love it in this pen. I know it's only a little bottle, so I'm thinking for the entire time that I've got this ink, I may end up just constantly filling it into this pen. Obviously not going to do that during this month because the whole idea of this month is to use some of the pens up. So this is the TWSBI VAC 700R and Diamine Spiced Apple. The last pen is this. This is a Platinum 3776 Century gold nibbed pen. It's the only gold nibbed pen this month. There we go. 14 karat gold, medium nib. It's a Japanese medium nib. Writes very fine. You'll see that in a second. It's a cartridge converter. Plenty of ink in there for the month. Don't think this will last to the end of the month. I might get 2. If I'm lucky, I might get 3 weeks out of it. But don't expect to see this throughout the whole month. Nice pen. I love this colour. This is Majohn, burgundy essentially. Slightly transparent. I don't know if it comes over on the camera, but you can see through there. You can see the converter. Nice fit in my hand, unposted, but it's not comfy. It will work. This is a pen I like to use posted. I find I just need that cap on there for that little bit of extra length. And in this way, I can write for ages with this. So this is a Platinum 3776 Century. You can see what I mean by the fineness of the line. Century. Oh. Do you know, I'm going to give up trying to spell. I'm just going to leave it as Century. Let's try and get that. Yeah, got it right second time. When I bought this, this was 200 Aussie dollars. It's more than that now. The ink by Diamine. No. The ink is actually labelled Cult Pens. Made by Diamine. And it's called Little Bob. I think the colour of the ink, the base colour, is a really nice match. It's a nice dark red, you know, going towards that burgundy type colour. Hopefully it might come over now. It's got a gorgeous... Do you know, I debate this in my head. It's either gold, or it could be green, I'm not sure which. But it's got a gorgeous sheen there. And that, to me, even in this nib, fetches a lot of interest to the writing. The nib, very stiff. A lot of nice, gorgeous pencil feedback. You expect that, though, from a Platinum. Drying times is immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. Yeah, 30 seconds. That's another one. That's nice and dry. So this is the Platinum 3776 Century with Cult Pens or Diamine Little Bob. Let's just swap over the views and we'll fetch the pens in for one final look. So here are the pens that hopefully I'll use up during the month of February of 2023. We've got the Mahjong T5 with Diamine Monboddos hat, the Wingsun 699 with Pilot Blue, the Narwhal Steel Toe with Pure Pens Celtic Sea, the Opus 88 Koloro with Diamine Sargasso Sea, the TWSBI VAC 700R with Diamine Spiced Apple, and a Platinum 3776 Century with Cult Pens Little Bob. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What pens are you going to be using this month? Do you use the idea of a theme, or do you just pick them as you like them, or do you even have the same pens that you use all the time? Please drop a comment down below. I'd love to know how people pick the pens and the inks that they're going to be using. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.